We have had a busy couple of weeks, but are now coming back to our 11th Pneumativversary series with these two questions from Karen and Kelly. So what are the biggest challenges for two people living in such a small space? Thanks for that question, Karen. Hamlet's tiny space is probably the one thing that has elicited the funniest comments that we've gotten over the years from strangers. We laugh about these all the time.
Do you have to go outside to change your mind? I was from this guy in South Carolina. The other one, I love this one. Wow, you two must really like each other.
That was from one of my former colleagues. So first of all, there's plenty of space for two in this 1957 camper, which boasted that it could sleep 5 back when it was made. The designers of these economical campers probably never imagined that someone like us would live full-time in them, much less for 11 years.
I remember this one mechanic who was surprised to learn that we didn't have any kids. He said, in a space that size? Man, I just thought that could happen if you just bumped into her.
That's right.
But it does require some daily choreography and good communication skills for us to get something done, like getting dressed, doing dishes, working, or cooking.
Yeah, when it comes to meal prep, the sous chef and the chef must know their roles and stick to them. If we get in each other's space with hot liquids and sharp knives around, there could be trouble. So we follow one simple rule. One person cooks at the stove and the other person preps at the table. No deviation is allowed during cooking or someone could get hurt. And if you've been watching our channel, you know we love to cook and don't hold back from making challenging stuff in our phone booth size kitchen when we can't cook outside.
Then there's dishwashing. So one person does the washing and the other person dries. And we use the 3-tub method. One to hold the dirty dishes, one for washing, and one for rinse water. We do dishes every few days when we have ample water around, but we can extend our water storage and keep everything sanitized with a little hack for lightly dirty dishes. It's a simple thyme tincture spray made with a couple tablespoons of vodka, a little bit of Dr. Bronner's soap, water, and lemon essential oil. It's all good for human consumption and it smells so yummy.
Yeah, we'll have to share that one in our next newsletter, so be sure to subscribe to that. Now with food storage, we are strategic about what we buy at the grocery store. We have to make sure that we have what we need, but not too much because we need to be able to store it. Even in our tiny camper with only 72 square feet, we can store enough food for nearly 2 weeks without having it all over our inside space. We also have an Iceco 12-volt fridge out in the back of the truck, which really saves space inside, and we charge that battery that runs this fridge while we drive or with solar.
Well, the hardest challenge is probably living in winter for longer than just a few days, as we just don't have much of a mudroom. The doorway is always a jumble of boots and jackets, and it's hard to disrobe from the outside and get comfy inside. And then the mud and the snow that gets tracked in, it's a mess.
It's a mess.
Plus, our camper doesn't really have a lot of insulation. So when we go to bed and turn off the heater, the inside cools down to just about 10 to maybe 20 degrees above whatever temperature it is outside. Now, while we're usually fine with our big down comforter and thick alpaca wool socks, it does get cold. So we don't usually spend too much time in real winter. It's fine to move through winter until we reach warmer climates, and that's usually our goal.
And finally, working and living in a small space can be a bit of a challenge. Our dinette is often our office. You have to put stuff away at the end of your workday or you'll end up with everything sprawled all over your living space. We've designed the storage in Hamlet so that everything has a space and can be stored and put away while we're driving down the road. Now, if you're planning to travel and work in a small space with more than just yourself, start working on your communication skills now, because they'll get tested.
Oh, yeah. Remember that whole comment about us liking each other?
Yeah.
And now another question. Kelly wants to know, would we ever consider something bigger or more modern? And the short answer is no, not for RV living. Hamlet is plenty big enough for us, and if something ever happened to him, we'd remodel another one that looked just like him. These vintages are well built and inexpensive to maintain. While we've brought some modern technology into Hamlet, we've kept that vintage ethic. And if you look around inside, you see vintage, but there are modern things hidden behind the scenes.
And if you're wondering about a bathroom and a shower,
That's the number one question.
well, we have those. They just look a little bit different than yours. They're either outside or outsourced. While boondocking, we use a portable toilet and shower, and if we're in a campground, well, we use their facilities. Even if we ever decide to settle down somewhere for part of a year, we'll always keep Hamlet as our travel wagon. We just love it and can't imagine anything different. He's our home no matter where we might be, and it might surprise you to find out that we're actually a couple of homebodies who love to travel.
We hope that answers your questions. Karen and Kelly, thank you so much. We'll see you on the road.
We'll see you on the road.